Hey guys, Millie here for a solo episode of the Millie Fox Show. I have something that I want to share with you that came through for me while I was doing a meditation yesterday morning. I was asking what truth needs to be shared, and this is exactly what landed for me. And I think that you need to hear it too. And ever since this message came through for me while I was doing this meditation, it has come through several more times in the form of other people's content that I've scrolled through, and it's so interesting. And the message is, you are going to be okay. You are going to be okay. It's such a simple message, but listen, oftentimes we are so afraid of what's going to happen to us if we do XYZ or if we don't do XYZ. And the truth of the matter is, no matter what, as a spiritual being having a human experience, you are completely resilient. Okay. You have the power to tap into this resilience and this inner knowing at any moment you choose. Okay. So sometimes what happens when we reach for more in life, we feel guilty. We feel guilty and we feel doubt, because fear is a mechanism that's set in to keep us safe. It keeps us small to keep us in attempts to keep us safe, right? But the truth of the matter is that this safety is really an illusion, because ultimately staying the same is extremely painful. And the ironic part is that by staying small, we're trying to avoid pain, and we're encountering it by way of doing exactly what we are attempting to avoid, right? So I want to remind you that you are going to be okay if you choose to grow, right? I read a very short little, I don't know if it would be classified a poem, but it said, everything aches when it's growing. Everything aches when it's growing. I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly what it said, but it's true. If you think about a child that's growing up, it has literal growing pains. And we know to reassure our children that they're going to be okay. Their legs might really hurt, and it might be hard for them to sleep at night, but we know why that pain is happening. And through all growth and through all pain, there will be the opposite, right? So through all growth, there will be pain, and through all pain, there will be growth. You can quote me on that if you want to. So here's the ultimate truth, is that we are giving our lives for whatever we're choosing. What are you giving your life for? Okay. However mediocre or however big, you have to know in your heart that what you're doing is a worthy cause. So if you are sitting in a space of mediocrity right now, is it worth your life? Is it worth your life to stay small? Because the message is, you're going to be okay if you decide to go for the big thing, right? We have to know, when we look back on our life, in our heart of hearts, that we gave it all. We gave it our all. We followed our calling, and that our life was as beautiful as it could have been because we ensured it would. When I was 16 years old, there was a song that came out. There's a song called Penelope by Pinback or Seosin. There was two different bands that did the same song. And there was a lyric inside the song. Apparently the song was about a goldfish, but that's irrelevant, okay? There was a lyric inside the song that said, I'm diving down with all my gear in search of a treasure, para mi corazón. And that phrase, para mi corazón, which is Spanish for my heart, I tattooed that on my body at 16 years old. I found a tattoo parlor that would allow an underage person to come in and get a tattoo, because at that moment in my life, I declared that I would always live for my heart. I would always listen to my heart, and I would always follow my heart, because my biggest fear, my personal biggest fear, was always that I would wake up one day and hate my life. And I never wanted that to happen to me. And I feel like it's such a slippery slope we can run down by doing things that we think we are supposed to do, by becoming a version of ourselves that we think aligns with what we want, but it's the other way around. We need to be the person we really are in order to have the things we really want, right? It's not that we have to do the things to become the person. We become first, right? So I was so afraid of blindly going through the motions and looking back to feel disappointed. And so the only way that I know how to ensure that that will never happen to me is to follow my heart and listen to my soul's calling, and to give it my all, and to go all in, and to connect to my deepest power, which is the divine that lives inside of me, and to get through those lows and to get through those doubts, to have self-compassion for myself, to recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture the emotions that I'm feeling, to give myself compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude, and connect to the oneness that lives inside of me, to know that I'm not ever doing this alone. And that reassures me that I'm going to be okay. So what's necessary to realize your dreams, your goals, to have the big life, to go all in, is to decide, to have commitment, to full commitment. Commitment is key, decision is necessary, and action is required, right? If you can come back to this knowing that you will always be okay, then you can start to take the action. You'll always be enough. You'll always come out on the other side with more knowledge, more wisdom, more clarity, more drive, more purpose, more courage. You'll always come out on the other side okay, so long as you choose to take aligned action, courageous action. And sometimes that courageous action is getting help. Sometimes that courageous action is knowing that you were not meant to do this alone, right? And action breeds all of these things. Action breeds trust within yourself. Action breeds trust within you and the universe. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think personally that the number one fear that people have all comes back to a fear that we're going to lose out on love, right? Because if we think about all the fundamental fears, we think that we're going to, ultimately fear of death. But even then, like, what is the fear of death? It's a fear of being alone, maybe, right? It's a fear of not of causing pain to others in our life. It's a fear of the unknown. And then the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment. All of these other fears are really fears of rejection, of losing out on people loving us, especially the people closest to us in our lives, because belonging is a hardwired fundamental need of humans, right? That is a hardwired need. There's studies that show, there's a rhesus monkey study, some kind of psychological study. I can't remember who it was by, but these rhesus monkeys were given either a cold metal mom with food or a fuzzy mom with no food. And the monkeys, they would choose the fuzzy mom, right? They would go grab the food quickly, and then they would run over to the fuzzy mom because they wanted comfort. They wanted that feeling of connection. We're hardwired for connection, right? So what we do is we contort ourselves into versions of us that we feel we're supposed to be in an attempt to gain this sense of belonging. But belonging requires authenticity, because if we do not show up vulnerably as our authentic selves, we can never feel truly seen. We will never, ever feel truly seen. And so it precludes a true feeling of belonging when we don't show up in our truth, right? So it's funny because we have this fear that keeps us small, like I was talking about in the beginning of this episode. We have this fear that keeps us small. And the truth about that fear is we're trying to avoid pain. But in staying small and in trying to fit in, contorting ourselves, and in not being true to our authentic selves, we are inflicting so much pain on ourselves by this lack of connection and lack of belonging that we are not able to experience because of the fear, right? So here's the deal. If you can do the thing that scares you, if you can show up as who you really are in the moment, day to day, and you can be that person, it might be scary, but the truth is you're opening yourself up. That vulnerability and authenticity that you are cultivating opens you up to such a deeper level of belonging. And so, yes, you may lose out on some approval from some people. You may experience judgment, but the right people that you are meant to be deeply connected to, that will give the opportunity, that will open the pathway, the channel for you to connect on a much deeper level. So the fear is there that you'll lose out on love, but the truth is you'll cultivate deeper opportunities for deeper connection and deeper love on the other side. So not only will you be okay, you will in fact be more than okay on the other side of whatever it is your heart is calling you to do. So it is worth it. It is so worth it. It's worth it to do it. It's worth it to go all in. It's worth it to decide. It's worth it to do it before you feel like you're ready. It's worth it to go first, to show the universe that you are serious, that you are operating as the person who has what you want, and that you are being in the frequency of the thing you desire. So then the law of attraction can actually do its job, because the law of action comes before the law of attraction. We have to be and take action as the person, because you attract what you are, right? You attract what you are. And when you are in the energy of the person who has what you want, you start doing the things that that person would do, and therefore attracting the things that that person would have. See how that works out? Isn't it beautiful? So that is my message for you today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining me here. Make sure that you share this episode. If you liked it, you can take a screenshot right now. Tag me at Millie Fox on Instagram. And also, if you want to take a step deeper with me, I have soul strategy sessions available. They are 2-hour one-to-one deep dive. With me, we can dive deep into your business, into your manifestation, whatever it is that you want to work on. I am the beautiful space in between the manifestation world and the action world. I live in between law of attraction and law of action, and I help you weave the line between the two so that you can have a uniquely customized strategy for how to get everything you want. And I am really good at getting everything I want. I just look around in my day-to-day life for all of the evidence of that. I am living my literal dream life, and it's only going to get better from here. If you want that too, if you want to be a conscious creator of your life, come into my world, get in on these one-on-one strategy sessions. You can find the link in the show notes below. And if you want to know what your manifestation magnetism score is, if you want to see or get a gauge on how well you're doing in your manifestation, you can go to milliefox.com. I've got a brand new quiz there where you can take the quiz and see how it's going for you. It's super fun. Just head to milliefox.com, MILLIFOX.com, and it should pop up as soon as you get to the site. If you're having trouble finding it, it's also in my Instagram bio, as are the links to the soul strategy sessions. So sending you a ton of love today. And just remember that you are okay. You're more than okay. You got this, beautiful. Talk to you soon.